Yo, man, back here on the Undisputed GOAT podcast, live from not only the great city of Columbus, Georgia, the greatest city in America, but also Madison, Georgia. Now, I would be remiss to say that we have a glaring omission for us tonight, and that is the great Flash 22. He is out with sick, man. So, hey, the big three is without Larry Bird tonight, but guess what? We're going to keep it rolling, man. Mikael and Parrish, we're going to get it done, and we're going to bring a championship to this team, man. So, BRF, man, how your night going?
Going pretty good. Just pretty much been relaxing after a good week of work, watching the football. Great first game. So far it's been a really good second game. So hey man, I'm just enjoying the day so far.
Man, I'm going to just be real, man. Look, big shout out to Flash, man. Without Flash, there would not be an Undisputed GOAT podcast, man. We hope that he gets well very, very soon. He's up there in Green Bay battling a cold in that cold weather, and I know that it's not easy. So big ups to Flash, man. And look, man, Flash, if you're looking at this, man, we miss you. And I've already tagged you on Facebook saying that we miss you in this live. So man, hey, without Flash, there would not be a big three, and without being the big three, there would be no Undisputed GOAT podcast. This goes all the way back to the early era of TikTok when we first started doing the lives every single Sunday night after the game, and some Thursday nights. We used to do it Thursday nights as well, man. So big ups to Flash. Shout out to the big three. Shout out to the Pat McAfee of this show, man. And we miss you, man. And look, we look forward to have you back very, very soon, man. But first, look, not only is it Martin Luther King weekend, we have lost one of the great ones during the course of this week, and that is Mr. Baseball Bob Uecker. I don't know.
Bob Uecker.
I can never say his name right. Excuse me. Sorry about that, Mr. Baseball. You know we love you, man. So you was a big integral part of all the baseball movies of my childhood. I did not watch the Brewers, but I did see you in Rookie of the Year, a lot of Disney movies. I saw the commentating. I heard you commentating on the radio in a lot of places. So salute to you. We'll miss you. You was a big part of the baseball community. And, the words cannot describe what he meant to baseball and what he meant to thousands of children who saw him in those movies. So you want to elaborate on that, BRF?
Yeah, I can elaborate a little bit. I mean, yeah, like you pretty much hit it on the head. Like just his impact wasn't just being a baseball commentator. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers was his home team, and he repped them with pride every chance he got. But he did play. I mean, he played for the Milwaukee Braves. In his younger days, he played for the Milwaukee Braves. He had 14 career homers. He actually bombed one off of Sandy Koufax. He actually bombed one off of Sandy Koufax. And the story is, every time he saw Sandy Koufax, he always apologized to him because he was like, "Man, I hope that home run I didn't hit off of you kept you from going into the Hall of Fame." because he only hit 14 home runs in his career. So that was definitely a story I listened to on ESPN, and I just wanted to tell it. But yeah, his impact is definitely farther than just like Major League Baseball. Like, I mean, Major League One, Major League Two. In my opinion, two of the iconic performances in all the sports movies. Like, just people just don't really truly understand how funny Bob Uecker was. He's hilarious. I mean, countless TV show appearances, particularly on Johnny Carson and other Tonight shows and stuff like that. But just some of the lines in those Major League movies are just hilarious. Like especially when Charlie Sheen's character Rick Vaughn would go out there and pitch it, and he would just struggle, and he would just have a well of a time trying to get the ball over the plate, just a bit outside. I mean, just some of the great lines in movies. Bob Uecker in those Major League movies. And yeah, like you said, you brought up Rookie of the Year. He was definitely in the Rookie of the Year movie as well. That's one of my favorite baseball sports movies growing up as a kid. Henry Rowan Gardner. Like, let me tell you something. I always had a dream about that movie. Like something like that would happen to me. I'd break my arm, or I'd break a body part, and it healed in a funny way, and then I just get this uncanny this uncanny ability to do something that I wasn't doing beforehand. Wow, Sam Laporta, that was a sick catch. Okay, all right. But yes, WrestleMania 3. The iconic shot from WrestleMania 3. He was interviewing Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant took that big frying pan hand in and just split right across the neck with him. So I mean, Bob Uecker was more than just Major League Baseball. He was pop culture. He was mainstream. He was just, you know what I'm saying, for a long, long period of time, he was just that guy. And every time we saw him, because there are a few guys that are like, there are a few people that are up there in age who are still living and still kicking, and we're just like, protect this person at all costs. And
Yeah.
Bob Uecker was one of those guys before he unfortunately passed away. So I definitely want to send prayers and condolences out to his family, as well as the Milwaukee Brewers family, who we always repped with pride. Was still calling games for him. There was a clip. He celebrated with the team after they won the National League Central Championship last season. There was a clip of him celebrating with the team, and you could just see his passion for the game was still there. His passion for the Milwaukee Brewers was still there. Definitely shout out to Mr. Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball himself. You will be missed, my good sir. Your contributions to not only baseball but the mainstream movie world will never be forgotten. Particularly if y'all have not seen Major League One and Major League Two, do yourself a service and go watch these movies. These are two of the funniest movies you will ever see in your life. Do yourself a favor, do yourself a service, and go watch the first two Major Leagues, because they are really, really good movies. So shout out to Mr. Bob Uecker. You will be missed, sir.
Yes, sir. And look, big ups to Mr. Watson from the Sports For You podcast, the best in the West. I mean, hey, look, hey, man, shout out to Los Angeles, man. Y'all be safe out there, man. Our thoughts and prayers are still with you. And look, man, that WrestleMania 3 moment when Andre the Giant, that was one of the fun, because you still see it. It's just like I don't know what moment you can compare that to, but I mean, that is that's a great crossover moment, man. You know that, I mean, childhood.
That's exactly what it is. A great crossover, iconic shot that will never die. It'll never die. It'll never go away.
Yes, it will not. It will not. Shout out to Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. We salute you, man. And look, shout out to Flash, man. Once again, man, we miss you, man. This really was your segment, man, but unfortunately we don't have you here today. So we salute you, man. We know he's a die-hard Milwaukee Brewer fan. You know, he was telling us about how he used to always watch the Milwaukee Brewers from his own town. So, hey, big ups to Flash and huge ups to Mr. Uecker, man. And you have done your thing. Job well done. Godspeed. And look, man, you're a legend, and legends make it all the way to heaven, man. God bless you. God. So we salute. Getting past that, man, got to get to the meat and potatoes of this football season. This is the playoffs, man. So as you know, the playoffs don't play. So look, I have my own opinion about what happened today between the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I want your thoughts, because I'll give my thoughts right after you, because I have a lot I have to say, but I'm gonna let you have a floor on this one, because I want a separate opinion on this.
I'm gonna give this advice to every team in the AFC who's gonna have the daunting task of trying to beat Patrick Mahomes at home in the playoffs. You're not going to get every call. I'm just telling you this right now. They are going to get favorable calls. I mean, it is what it is. They know, and the thing, they know how to. Let me tell you something. They know how to play the system when it comes to getting these calls with the referees. They know how to do it. You've heard them. I mean, they've kind of slipped up in clips. Like they and a lot of times they know what they're doing with some of this stuff, but like the roughing the passer calls. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I'll say this: Kansas City was still the better team today, because that defense showed up and they showed out. Shout out to George Karlaftis. I wanted you in the draft that you was coming out of as a Falcons fan. I wanted them to draft you as a pass rusher, as a defensive end. seeing what you're doing with a 3-sack game. But the roughing the passer calls are just they're getting out of hand. And that first one on I believe it was Will Anderson they called it on. Clean shot.
Not
Hit
to
him in the
mention the hip
shoulder.
drop tackle out there.
Yeah.
Not to mention the hip drop tackle and
yeah.
Scary Terry is gone. Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to interrupt your segment, but yeah, Scary
Oh
Terry.
you good, bro? Because I'm on a little time delay as far as you're concerned. I'm behind you, so I'm probably about to see the play, and there he goes.
They called him Scary Terry for a reason. But back to what we were saying. Look, that hip drop tackle was a missed call. The defensive end didn't even touch Patrick Mahomes. They hit each other on the way down. And the thing is, you knew that Patrick Mahomes knew what he was doing on the sideline when he slowed down, was trying to get a call. So it's just like, bro, like, come on. It's like, I can understand we're trying to protect the quarterbacks. You know, this is a more safer game and things of that nature. But the NFL, y'all got to do better with these damn refs, bro. You can't make it obvious. This is not the day. If it's really, the R word, we're not gonna say it on the air. We don't want to get sued. I ain't got no money anyway, so in the great words of Rocky Balboa, sue me for what? But if you really don't want the fans to think that this is choreographed, I will say, then you got to do a better job with these refs, man. You got to do a better job with these refs because I do not understand how you missed that hip drop tackle call in the middle of the field. He was all by himself. And then, it was just a plethora of just missed calls across the board. Now, to the credit of the Chiefs, I will say this. To the credit of the Chiefs, I will say this. And you're absolutely right, Mr. Watson. It's going to be polarizing topic in the offseason. But to their credit, they did have 8 sacks against the Houston Texans. They did have 8 sacks. They did have 8 sacks. They wasn't able to protect C.J. Stroud. There was a lot of miscues, the missed kicks, the missed extra point, the missed field goal. That all came back to bite the Houston Texans in the buttocks. Let's not discount that. So they played a hell of a game, So it wasn't just the refs. There was a lot of missed opportunities in that game. But on the flip side of that coin, a lot of these big penalties towards the end of the game really cost the Houston Texans the chance. That hip drop tackle number 1, that roughing the passer. And like I said, you knew they knew what they were doing because the first thing that they did was try to slow down on the sideline in order to force the call. So you saw it. So it's just
and Patrick Mahomes tried to, and he tried to do it again later. He tried to do it again later in the game too, where he intentionally slowed down, getting into the sidelines, and just so happened the Texas player pushed him before his foot hit out of bounds. But he tried to do it again, so they know what they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, and it is sad. It's like it's crazy. It's like I understand, trying to protect the quarterback. That's the most important thing. But come on, that's the most important position. Well, wait a minute. The most important position in the game right about now, and and Patrick Mahomes, let's just face it, that is your cash cow at this point. But y'all got to do a better job at that, man. The NFL, y'all got to do a better job of that because, hey, if you don't want these fans to think that the refs is on FanDuel or Prize Picks or Underdog, shout out to Underdog, by the way, our sponsors. But if you don't want them to think that, by the way, then you need to do a better job of policing these refs. And if they get a call wrong, it deserves a suspension because it's really starting to get old at this point. And for the people for a lot of Chiefs fans who are saying, well, if this was a call against your team, then you be screaming bloody murder in the great words of Jim Cornette. So that's all I have to say. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, because because this is what I'm saying. Just for those teams that are gonna, like I said, in the future, y'all aren't calls like this are gonna happen with the Kansas City Chiefs. Because they're the it team right now. They are the 3 out of the last 4 year back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions. They are the it team of the league. They are the They are the dynastic organization. So calls are going to go their way. If I'm opposing defenses, knowing I got a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs coming up, particularly in the playoffs, if I'm opposing defenses, I from this point forward, I pull no punches. I show no mercy. I hit the daylights out of any and everybody walking as legal as I can, and just take the consequences however they may. At this point, for defenses that are playing the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to dictate the tempo and you have to force the issue. When you beat the Kansas City Chiefs, you're controlling the tempo. You're hitting Patrick Mahomes. You're getting him off his spot. He, as good of an off-rhythm quarterback as he is, he still looks to throw the ball first. You have to rattle him. You have to hit him and hit him and hit him some more to beat him. So whoever wins this game tomorrow between Baltimore and Buffalo to earn the right to go to Kansas City for the AFC title game, you need to come in there with a defensive mindset like I'm about to cold cock Patrick Mahomes legally as much as I can, as long as I can get away with it. They have to come into that game needing to force the issue, needing to dictate tempo on the defenses from their defensive side of the ball in order to win this game. Because if they don't, this stuff is going to continue to happen with the Kansas City Chiefs. They have to force the issue.
Or do the Bill Belichick. Keep their behinds on the sideline.
And Jared Goff just threw a pick.
Yes, he did. I was not about to say
homeboy took it to the
I told y'all, man. I told y'all. So, hey, man, shout out to PSP, by the way. I hope you watching, big homie. Shout out to the New Jersey Genius. Without him, there would not be an Undisputed GOAT podcast. Thanks for putting this on, brother.
But to add to your point, we both did say Washington had a shot to make it to the NFC Championship game.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know why people are underestimating. And big ups to Magic Johnson and Josh Harris. They came in with this new regime and just came in with it, and they knocked the hell out of Jared Goff on the
But before I move on to the next topic, there's a lot of football to be played, and like I said, Detroit has a disrespectfully good offense. So this game is a long ways away from being over.
Yes, it's gonna take way more than 24 points to beat these guys. I'll let you know. Yeah. Believe you me.
Fact. Exactly. If Washington want to win this game, they might have to hit 40 tonight to beat Detroit, like straight up.
And I might, hey, Cliff Kingsbury, it's time to put that Texas Tech offense into play when you had Patrick Mahomes go 70.
That full on point air raid offense. I'm talking about let it go.
Let it go. Oh man, look, big ups to the Washington Commanders, man. Big ups to Magic Johnson and Josh Harris. Only their second year as part of the ownership group. But I mean, they're doing everything that they can in order to handle everything that they need to handle. And like they said, and this is no shot at no other NFL team or NFL owner, but they said exactly correct, you know. And Jerry Reinsdorf said the same thing when he hired Jerry Krause. God rest his soul. He said, the only job I have as an owner is to get people in place so I can get out of the way and let them get their jobs done. I don't control the team. So big up to Magic Johnson and those teams in order to do that. And Mr. Watson, big shout out to our partners out there in LA, man. Magic strikes again. Exactly, man. Because people don't realize, man, everywhere Magic Johnson has gone, and he was a part of ownership, he's won. You know, from Los Angeles to the Major League Soccer team. And, you know, hey, man, remember what I keep saying. The Washington Commanders are some hogs. That offensive line, the real most important position in football, because the quarterback can't throw on his back. And if you don't believe the offensive line is most important, ask Joe Gibbs. But hey,
they're a good offensive line and better run defense from being a legit NFC. Like even though they got a shot to make the NFC Championship game tonight, they are a legit offensive line and an improved rushing defense away from being perennial NFC Championship contenders.
And they already caught the Dallas Cowboys, but I digress. Had to sneak that in there. Sorry, Mom. You know, I know you're
What good would you leave?
What's going with you, Leaf? Mr. New York City. What's going on, man? Shout out to Leaf, man. Big time Brooklyn Nets fan. Hell of a basketball content creator as well as football. You can catch him on Brandon from the Block. Catch him on his podcast on about the Brooklyn Nets, his favorite team, and hell of a sports content creator, man. Great man, great dude. So,
real quick plug before we get to the next segment. Y'all saw Mr. Watson in here posting and commenting, showing love like he always do. We got to show it back. 2 weeks from tonight, February 1st, Royal Rumble, week 11. We doing a watch along. Y'all check that out. 2 weeks from tonight, Royal Rumble Saturday. Y'all check that out.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So shout out to Leaf, man. The link's in the bio, the link's in the comments, man, and we will get it started, headed into the next segment, man. So gotta ask this question, man. Who has to win this game more, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
I think it's equal as far as I'm concerned because they've both been close numerous occasions and on multiple occasions and hadn't got the job done. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a level playing field as far as pressure. But I think the media is putting more on Lamar Jackson because it's looking more and more likely like he's about to win his third most valuable player award. So I think from the media perspective, from the media pressure perspective, Lamar Jackson needs this game more. If Lamar Jackson can get to the AFC Championship game, if Lamar Jackson can get to the Super Bowl this year and bring it back to Baltimore for their third championship of that franchise, if he can bring it home, just not only what it would mean to the city of Baltimore to get another title, but what it would mean for his legacy to put the stamp on it. Mm-hmm. Because I think because if he wins the third MVP, after that, I think he's a championship away from us having legit top 8 to 10 all-time conversations. If he gets the third MVP, he's a title away from doing that. So he's I think the pressure is really going to fall on him more to win from the media because he has the cachet of being a 2-time league MVP, about to make it a third. So I think Lamar needs this game more.
I'd have to agree, and to Mr. Watson, golf is in the tent, and yeah, like we said, this game is far from over because Jameson Williams just scored another touchdown, and yeah, from Teddy Bridgewater, by the way, man. It's a big shout out to Teddy Bridgewater coming off a state championship win with his 5-school football team. So big up.
His team finna score 40 apiece tonight.
Yeah, 40 burger apiece, man. So hey, man, this, like you said, this game is far from over, man. This game is far from over. If Washington knows like I know, you keep scoring. So, look, I agree with you 100% that Lamar Jackson needs to win this game a hell of a lot more than Josh Allen. But I think the significance of Josh Allen getting back to the AFC Championship in order to face off against his nemesis, Patrick Mahomes, and potentially get back to a Super Bowl where they can potentially win with this star-studded team that they have, and for him to be part of the best care job arguably in the history of the NFL, because he is the only quarterback in the last 15 years that doesn't have another All-Pro to accompany him on that defense or offensive side of the ball. So he doesn't have any All-Pros to accompany him as first team or second team. So he's the first in 15 years. So with that being said, you have to ask yourself, hey, where does it go? Where does it go from there? But yeah, and let's just hope it, even if he loses the Super Bowl, to get the Buffalo Bills back to where they were in the early 90s with Jim Kelly and that team, that's nothing short of amazing, and he deserves a lot of big ups for that. So I believe that Lamar has to win it more because of the accolades and the MVPs and first team All-Pro, and him having 9 Pro Bowlers and 6 All-Pros, and to that Ravens franchise was all about Super Bowls. but who it would mean more to is Bill Mafia and that franchise, because that drop that they had in the playoffs, the long time for not having a franchise quarterback, the experiment with Tyrod Taylor, where they were able to get him he was able to get them back to the playoffs, but they was very, very wishy-washy with him at a certain point. So I think it will mean more to the Buffalo Bills to get to the Super Bowl than the Baltimore Ravens. But as far as a player is concerned, it would be Lamar Jackson. Moving on.
I got to agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Moving on to the next segment, I have to ask you this question. Can the Rams defeat the Philadelphia Eagles?
Do I think they can? Yes. Do I think they will? No. I feel like my thing is, and I think I trust Sean McVay more in terms of just sheer understanding the situation and clock management and just all the little necessities, the little things that coaches need to know and have a handle on. But I just think the Philadelphia Eagles they just have too many playmakers on both sides of the ball. And honestly, I think right now that defense is trying to tote them to the finish line is what they're trying to do. I think they have too many. I think they just have way too many playmakers, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And we know what the offense can do. If this offense starts clicking, I think only the Detroit Lions can go blow for blow with them in terms of sheer offense. Well, shoot, the way Washington's looking, they say, hey, we can go both blow for blow with them too. But the Eagles just present so much both sides of the ball in terms of their balance. With Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts when he's healthy and on his game, just the play action, running with Saquon, and then Saquon being the all-world talent that he is, not only can run out the backfield, can catch it out the backfield, can line up on the outside, can run routes. Just generational running back talent is what Saquon Barkley is. And then that defense. I can't talk enough about how good that defense has been over the second half of the season. You call them the Philadelphia Bulldogs all the time. I mean, you got shout out to Nakobe Dean. It sucks that you got hurt, that you're going to miss the rest of these playoffs and potentially a lot of the 2025 season with that really bad injury he suffered. So shout out to Nakobe Dean. Wish him well. Wish him a definite speedy recovery. But, you're still bringing Nolan Smith. You're still bringing Jordan Davis. You're still bringing Jalen Carter, who's a first-team All-Pro. You have Zach Bond, who's been like your pass rusher extraordinaire off the edge. And then you have Reed Blankenship, who's been a really good safety for them this year. You have Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, who's been awesome rookie corners for them this year. If I'm the Eagles, what should scare you about the LA Rams is not just their defense, because that defense has been tremendous as of late. Jared Verse, my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year, just a monster. And then Braden Fisk coming in at the same time from Florida State. Their teammates in LA. The havoc they cause on the defensive line, they are just two monsters that deserve all the praise and respect. But if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I see Matthew Stafford on the other sideline. I see a guy in Matthew Stafford who's been there, led this franchise to a championship a couple years ago, has practically seen it all, and being 35, 36 years old and still one of the elite arms in the league, and one of the great football minds, football IQs of the league. It's almost like the older he's gotten in the league, seeing everything and understanding everything better, it's like we all knew with Matthew Stafford, when the full-on IQ caught up with the arm talent, he was going to be something serious, and that's what he's turning into. And he's good for moments like this in big game situations. He's good for stuff like this, to go into a hostile environment like Philadelphia and just steal one, just because he's good for moments like this. So if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I would be worried, because the LA Rams can come in here and they can take this game because they are playing very good football. And basically they come into the situation here the same as the Washington Commanders against Detroit. They're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. No one's really expecting them to win because of how hot the Philadelphia Eagles have been. They've been hot too, don't get it twisted. But nobody's really picking the Rams like that. So they're coming in with house money. They have no pressure. They can go out and let it fly. Play easy, play loose, play free, have fun. Because at the end of the day, if you lose, nobody was really picking you to win. But if you win, you're shocking the world. So the Rams are definitely coming in here. They should be coming in as loose as all get out with an opportunity to win this game, even though I don't think they can because Philly do have just – I think Philly does have too much. Don't be surprised if we're watching this game tomorrow and we're seeing an upset because the LA Rams control the tempo, particularly from their side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, being able to rush and hit Jalen Hurts, which is what I think they need to do to win this game. They have to be able to pressure Jalen Hurts, get him off the spot. Basically, they got to turn Jalen Hurts into a pocket passer. They have to make Jalen Hurts beat them throwing the ball, and not just from the play action pass, literal drop back passing. Because we all know what Jalen Hurts can do with the play action if Saquon Barkley gets hot, and he's taking that attention away from the safeties, having to move them up to play 7, 8, 9 in the box to worry about him. We know what Jalen Hurts can do off the play action. LA needs to make him beat them straight up drop back passing. That's going to be LA's best route to winning this game. They can do it. I just still think the Eagles have too much, but I think this is going to be a very good game.
I do too, man. And speaking of greatness, shout out to the Great Sports PSP, man. Like, subscribe to
There you go. There you go.
No dessert tonight, no cheesecake, no none of that. We stopped eating at 6 tonight, Barack. So we got you, man. We stopped eating at 6 tonight. Only thing we doing right now is getting a swig of this good old H2O, this good old quality H2O. And in fact, we're gonna take a sip right now. There we go. That hit the spot. So, hey, man,
right.
Big up Sports PSP, almost to 66,000 subscribers on YouTube, man. Big ups to him, man. Like I said, if it wasn't for PSP, there would not be a Undisputed GOAT podcast, man. And big ups to you, bro. And yes, we're looking at that right now. I think we're a little bit behind more than you are.
Hey, champ, give me like 1-2 minutes, because I'm not. Well, my daughter tried to call, but it kind of knocked my sound off on my phone. Let me reset this real quick. I'm gonna jump right back in. Give me 1 minute.
All right. And as we're waiting on BRF to come back, look, the Commanders, like I stated on Sports PSP's podcast just last night, the Commanders have a legitimate shot in order to win this game against the Detroit Lions and get to the NFC Championship. In fact, this will be the first time since Brock Purdy, I will say, that a rookie quarterback is able to reach the Super Bowl. Excuse me, the NFC Championship. But the only difference is he doesn't have the talent surrounding him as Brock Purdy does. He doesn't have a George Kittle. He doesn't have a Brandon Ayuk. He didn't have a Deebo Samuels. He didn't have a Ricky Pearsall. He didn't have all of those guys. So with him, if he's able to defeat the Detroit Lions, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL tonight, if he's able to beat them tonight, then guess what? He's arguably one of the best rookies that we've ever seen. We've seen a lot of rookie sensations before as far as the quarterback position. We've seen Matt Ryan. We've seen Joe Flacco. We've seen RG3 himself, who also played for the Washington Commanders. We've seen a plethora of great, magnificent players when it comes to the quarterback position. But when you talk about Jayden Daniels, he's one of the best rookie sensations that we've ever seen thus far. Because like I stated, although he's going to be the first rookie, he may very well end up being this year the first rookie to reach the NFC Championship. I think it's have more significance than when Brock Purdy did it, because Brock was surrounded. And this is not to take anything. This is not a shot at Brock Purdy. He's tremendously talented. And guess what? He was able to get the San Francisco 49ers out of the quarterback pit of obscurity when it came to Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, because they was in that quarterback room was in obscurity and they had no one. And then Brock Purdy came in and remedied that quick, fast, and hurry. So this is not to discredit him. What I'm saying is this is Jaden Daniels making it has a lot more significant because he's doing more with less. He doesn't have a defense. As we're seeing right now, the defense ran through. So, I mean, I think it has a little bit more significance than that. Imagine Jaden Daniels versus Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Don't jinx it.
Oh, that's box office. Don't jinx it, but that's box office.
Don't jinx it, PSP. Don't jinx it. What about Jaden Daniels and Lamar?
That's even more box office.
That's even more box office.
I think some people might. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is the cash cow of the NFL, but no one's going to tell me that Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson wouldn't pull in potentially the greatest. Well, I think both of those games could potentially pull in like greatest ratings in the history of the Super Bowl, just because of the potential offense we could see from all three of those guys. Like, my bro, that would be that. Well, those games would be insane.
Yeah, it would be fun. I'm not disagreeing with you there, Sports PSP. Back to the Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I really think that the Rams have a chance to win. Look, when you have Sean McVay on that sideline, you have a legitimate chance to get some things done. A legitimate chance. And, he can match wits with any coach, especially Nick Sirianni. I'm not so sure that Nick Sirianni, if it comes to him having to outcoach Sean McVay, I'm not sure that he can do it. And that's just being honest. I'm not sure that Nick Sirianni can outcoach Sean McVay. I'm pretty sure that Sean McVay can outcoach Nick Sirianni. And if it comes down to coaching, then I'm definitely choosing Sean McVay. And they have a talented team and a talented defense. Not to mention, and to Sports PSP's point, they have an impeccable defense when you talk about the Los Angeles Rams. And like PSP saying, imagine if Aaron Donald didn't retire and you have him and Jared Verse on that defense.
Him and Braden Fisk in the same interior? Jesus Christ.
I don't know if it's just me, but the Rams don't miss when it comes to defensive linemen.
Deacon Jones, Kevin Carter, Aaron Donald, Braden Fisk, and Jared Verse, Leonard Little.
Yeah, Leonard Little, Kevin Green.
They do not miss. They really don't.
Yeah, so they don't miss when it comes to defensive line. So big ups to the Los Angeles Rams, but I really think they can win that game, man. I really think they can win the game. It's just a matter of if they can stop Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, because once they get on a roll, it's kind of hard to slow them down. So piggybacking on what we was just talking about earlier, in your humble opinion, is Jaden Daniels the best rookie sensation ever, or is it someone else?
It's up. His rookie season is up there. It's up there. I mean, you got RG3 2012. You got Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco 2008. Because I believe they both got their teams to the playoffs that year. You have good Lord, trying to think, trying to go back. Other great rookie campaigns.
Andrew Luck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Andrew Luck. If you want to go 2012, if you're gonna go 2012, you can't talk about RG3 without talking about Andrew Luck, because Andrew Luck was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. If only the front office had some sense and built that offensive line up a lot faster than they did. Because by the time that offensive line was built and ready to go, that man was already so beat up that he couldn't take it no more. He couldn't take it no more.
Yeah.
So greatest rookie season ever. See, this is one I wish I had done done a little more research on.
Cam 2011.
Cam, yeah, about to say Cam 2011 is up there too.
By the way.
Cam, Cam 2011 is up there too, most definitely.
Ben Roethlisberger in
Ben Roethlisberger's 04. Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger's 04. Yeah, that's another good one.
That's another.
Yeah, that's another very good one.
It's a lot of them. You just can't name one.
Dan Marino. Vince Young's 05.
Yeah.
But still, the impact he made the second half of that season, the way Tennessee got going when he took the reins over. So I mean, even though it won a full season, when he got in, Tennessee was a completely different team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tennessee was a completely different team. And big ups to Cam, man. Man, did you see how he jumped on that damn helicopter and lifted himself? Bro, hey, what you think about that? Wasn't that amazing?
What you talking about the helicopter spot?
Yeah.
That was the fact that he's still as athletic as he is. No, it's funny though, because I saw did Washington just pick them again?
Again.
Yeah, like I said, I'm delayed. I'm behind you. Bro.
Oh man. Boy, that's nasty. Boy, that's ugly. And he had him. Just a little bit too late, man.
He didn't put enough air on the ball. He didn't put enough. If he had to put a little more air on the ball, he'd have had him.
Yeah, he'd have had it.
Yeah, that Jameson Williams, you got to throw that up.
Yeah. I hope that Jared Goff is not finna sell this game, because if he does, it's ugly.
Flash is going to destroy the Detroit Lions if they lose this game.
Oh, he is going to flat out destroy the Detroit Lions if they do that, if they sell this game. That is going to be ugly. That's going to be ugly. That'll make a puppet full of freight train right there, man. I'm just going to be real.
Boy.
If that happens. So look, man, every now and then we bring in a very, very special guest. It's usually just us, the big three. You've seen PSP. You saw Aiden AC the other week. So we're going to bring in a special friend of ours from the West Coast, from the Sports for You podcast. The man himself, Mr. Nick Freeze. How you doing, man?
What it do, y'all? What it do?
What's up, big homie?
Oh, man, y'all know what it is. I'm over here watching this game, boy. I am in shock.
Yeah.
In utter shock.
Do you think they should have went for it? I'm gonna ask y'all this. Y'all think they should have tried to get down the field and get another touchdown? You had 22 seconds with two timeouts. What do y'all think?
You gotta look. Here's my thing. You gotta go for it, because at the end of the day, no matter how good you are and how the leads you have, we all know this Detroit team can score like this. You got your foot on their neck, you gotta break it. Don't give them no hope. I would have went for it and try at least get me a field goal or something. Nah, it was too much time left out there. That's settling. I would have went right for the jugular. Yeah. Break their spear immediately.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with the big homie Nick, man. A team, like I've said it before, and I'm gonna keep reiterating this. The Detroit Lions have a very disrespectfully good offense, and I mean that in the best way possible. Every time I say that, they have a disrespectfully good offense, and what I mean by that is they can get 21 in 5 minutes if you let them. That's how good they are. Washington coming into this second half, I think Washington pretty much has to be under the idea of, our defense ain't that much better than Detroit. Detroit's still gonna get theirs. We got to keep the pressure. We got to keep the pressure on them to try to catch us. Because if it's gonna go back and forth, and we slip up once or twice, our defense really is not that. It's really not better than Detroit's.
Mm-hmm.
So look, I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked him earlier, big homie. So I gotta ask you this: is Jaden Daniels the best rookie quarterback as far as seasons ever, or do you have somebody else in mind?
He's one of them. And see, here's the thing too. Sometimes it's all about situations. I'm pretty sure, Champ, you've heard me say this before about Washington. I always thought Washington was a team that was a quarterback away from being something because they had the weapons as far as on offense. Their defense is pretty solid. So it was like, they just need some consistency at that quarterback position. And that's pretty much all they need. And they got that. And Daniels, they got that and then some. This guy isn't just he's a force and he gives you hope. And that's what a team like that needs. They need hope. And he gave it to them. So overall, it's one of them. If it's not the best, it's for sure top 3. No doubt about it.
All right. So you from the city of Los Angeles, man. So I got to ask you this question, man. I know you're an Oakland Raiders fan, but I got to ask you about another Los Angeles team. Not the Chargers, because I know you hate the Chargers. I know you hate the Bolts. But can the Rams beat the Eagles? You think the Rams can beat the Eagles?
Here's what the Rams need to do. The Rams need to keep the pressure on the Eagles as far as they need to score. They can't not score because between Saquon and all these other weapons that they have up over there, they have enough to go ahead and score when everything is going as well. And they do it enough to the point where they can deflate the football and just slow everything down. Just hand the ball off to Saquon. Read option here with Jalen. Play action. Let's go ahead and throw it to Goddard. You want the deep pass? All right, Smith to A.J. Brown. Let's figure it out from there. So you have to keep the pressure on them as well because their defense, they bring pressure as well. Shout out to Vic Fangio, one of the best damn defensive play callers in the league, if not the best. So he brought a whole another attitude up over there to the Eagles, and they needed it. And can they beat them? Yes, because the Rams offense, as far as Cooper and Puka, they put a lot of pressure on the defense. They can run the ball, and their defense is good enough to win you a game, as we saw last week. But there's a big difference between the Eagles and the Vikings, and that's that offensive line. That offensive line is, if not the best, it's one of the best. I can't think of too many that's better. And when you take
they're top 2 and they're not 2 in my, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't think of no team. I have to do some research thinking somebody that's better than them on offensive line. Maybe Detroit. Detroit are the only team that's in the category. And I don't think so either. So it's gonna be tough for the Rams. It's a tough outing because you got a hell of a guy that's trying to stop over there in Saquon Barkley. He is on a mission, and you can see it.
Hey, you can see it. You can see it, man. And, I'm pretty sure that the New York Giants are booting themselves in the behind in order to let him fly away in free agency. That's some nasty work right there. That's ugly. That's real ugly.
They don't. For a decision like that, they don't deserve our breath talking about them right now for a decision like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Hey, gotta ask you this question, man. I know you are a chief rival of this team. The Kansas City Chiefs, America's favorite team at this point, man. Look, we already gave our thoughts, but I gotta ask you this, man. What was your thoughts about C.J. Stroud and their performance against the Chiefs? And what do you think about, the refereeing and the officiating of that game? I know we had to talk about it earlier between us, but what are your thoughts on it, man?
Here's the thing, you look at everything statistically. C.J. Stroud and them should have won, but there was some key plays that they didn't really get over on offense that didn't help their case. But those two penalties, and of course there's a plethora of other things that was ridiculous. But those two particular penalties were killers because they led to points right afterwards. So first and foremost, the what was that? The roughing the passer penalty, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It was, it's bad when the announcers even say, where's the flag at?" So when I watched that, I'm like, okay, this is typical. You see one of these at least once a game when it comes to Kansas City. But the second one, the dude didn't even get hit. The dudes ran into each other. I've never seen nothing like that before. How in the world is it that first and foremost, it's different because it's like he technically was a runner on that play. So those rules that usually help the quarterback in those situations are thrown out the window. Like, you're a regular runner now. You half-ass slid. That's the reason why they went after you the way they did. Because if it's not like it's like, oh, it's a quarterback, he'll go ahead and do this. No, they did that with every damn runner. You did a half-ass slide, and they went to go do what they're supposed to do and tackle you. You didn't get hit. So I don't get where the penalty came from. So it's like it made no sense. So I don't like that because both of those plays were like pivotal plays. There was also a first down that should have occurred with Schultz that they said was short, and then on the very next play, I think it was like what was it? I think it was like an illegal shift call or something like that had happened, and it moved them back like about 6 yards. So but if they actually called the first down, which it was, that play wouldn't have happened. So it's just little stuff that happens. I know the Chiefs are good, dog, but it's like don't give them more help than they need.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the final boss when you playing against the game too. So I mean, read between the lines on that. It's kind of hard. I said this on TikTok. It's kind of hard to beat the final boss when the game playing against you as well. You can't beat the game and the damn boss. So I mean, like I said, there has to be something done about these referees. They need to start implementing some suspension. You can't do this many games if you get a call wrong or something. They need to get a new grading system or something. And I can understand they are the cash cow, especially when you think about Taylor Swift's in the audience now, the biggest star in the WNBA, and Caitlin Clark. She's in the audience with Taylor Swift now. They moving the camera up there just to make sure that the casual fan sees them. But hey, come on, you gotta. I know life ain't fair, but football is supposed to be a fair sport. So, I mean, give everybody a sporting chance. So,
exactly, man. You gonna have these teams messing around. You calling Patrick Mahomes to find a ball. You gonna mess around, and start having these teams thinking they have to pull up the cheat code, having to go left, right, up, down, circle, X square to get the unlimited help so they can beat these boys.
Exactly.
So I mean, you can't. Beating Patrick Mahomes is hard in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you got the referees just bailing them out like every 3 or 4 plays, it's like it make you want to pack it up. But it's like I said earlier though, they gonna mess around, and they're gonna run into the right defense, and the right defense gonna be like, well, they gonna call some stuff anyway. Let's just hit the hell out of Molly Hill. They gonna run into the right one eventually.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's real.
Hey, just be thankful them 70s Raiders ain't around, because they his ass for real. Just being real with you. So,
man, I think they would as far as like, I think they would rather see the Bills defense as opposed to the Baltimore Ravens defense, because I think the Baltimore Ravens defense is that right defense.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
They're gonna pull out all the stops.
Yeah. And it's going to be difficult for them to beat the Ravens anyway, because they're going to have to figure out a way to stop both Henry and Lamar. That's going to be rough. That's going to be rough for anybody. That's rough for the damn Bills this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of the Bills and the Baltimore Ravens, we asked this question to each other earlier. Now we will be asking it to Los Angeles' own Nick Freeze. Who has to win this game more, Lamar or Josh Allen? You have the floor, my friend.
Oh, it's easily Lamar Jackson. Easily Lamar Jackson. The reason why I say that is because let's break down Lamar Jackson's career right now alone. He'll he'll win MVP this year, would that be three MVPs?
Three MVPs.
Correct.
Three MVPs.
All right, so three MVPs. They've won the division multiple times. You know, he's done pretty much everything for that team multiple times, except get them to the big game. So he wins MVP this year, and he goes and wins. Let's say he'll go for example, and goes and wins the Super Bowl. Now all of a sudden, the all-time talks have to be brought up. There's a different aura to his name, because not only are you talking about putting him on a different tier now because he's a champion, but he's a champion with other hardware as well. So when you factor in, okay, I'm a Super Bowl, I win the Super Bowl. Let's say, for example, he wins Super Bowl MVP. So now I'm Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP, 3-time MVP in the league, right? Now all of a sudden you go from, all right, maybe Lamar Jackson is top 20 to maybe Lamar Jackson is somewhere between 5 and 10. Now off of that, you know, it changed your whole trajectory of your career, especially considering how young he is, and you're in an era that already has Mahomes won 3 Super Bowl. I mean, not 3 Super Bowl, 3 MVPs as well, right? Or has he won 2?
He's got 2.
See, so look, that's what I'm saying. So now you're put in a predicament where you may not have as many Super Bowls as Mahomes, but guess what? While he's playing as well, I done won MVPs and won a championship. So now my talk, you know, everything helps me as far as when you discuss my career. All the smut that's being brought to his name, it disappears immediately. Ask Peyton Manning. Boy, I'm pretty sure Peyton was happy as anybody that he won that first Super Bowl. Because all that stuff that was, you know, Peyton can't do this. Peyton's not going to be, you know, Peyton's great, but he's not going to be this and that. All that whole narrative is thrown out the window. Everything's gone because of that one win. And the good thing and the great thing about football is not like it's basketball. In football, you just win one time and your whole career changes. Basketball, if you want to be one of the greatest, you got to be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times for them to talk about you being one of the greatest or whatever. In football, you just need one. You just need one to start getting in those talks. That's all you need.
Got a little pipe bomb I want to throw in there, and I do it every show. Is this era of quarterbacks the best era of quarterbacks at this point? You got Josh Allen, you got Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, you know, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Now you add Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix into the mix. Is this the best era of quarterbacks that we've ever seen, or are we still sticking with the 80s and the 90s as far as quarterbacks are concerned? You know, whoever wants to go first, I will say.
I'm gonna be completely honest here. I got the 2000s. I got the 2000s, 2010s. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers. I'm going with that era. I'm going with the 2000s and 2010s era. Just because of the depth at the position. The fact that the 2000s and the 2010s, if you're looking at the top 10 quarterbacks of that era, it's basically, it's just depth. It's like either they have championships or they have MVPs or they have like numerous passing records that puts them in Hall of Fame consideration. So I would probably go that era between the 2000s and like in the 2010s, and I would look at that group of quarterbacks, and I would say that's the greatest era of quarterbacks. Now this one's coming, and like because I know people will still say, you know, what was that, the 80, what was that? The 83 class, 84 class.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jim Kelly, John Elway, Dan Marino, all those boys coming in at the exact same time. So I mean
Mhm.
that one. I mean for classes that was definitely up there too. But like for an era, I would go 2000. I would go 2000s, 2000, 2010, 2000, 2010. If you're gonna reel off right off the bat, if you're gonna give me Peyton Manning, you're gonna give me Tom Brady, you're gonna give me Drew Brees, you're gonna give me Aaron Rodgers, and then you're gonna give me Ben Roethlisberger, you're gonna give me Matt Ryan, you're gonna give me Phillip Rivers, you're gonna give me Russell Wilson. I didn't even say his name. You're gonna give me Russell Wilson.
Brett Favre.
Just, Brett. I mean, shoot, Brett. I mean, Brett Favre was still playing in the 2000s at the time, and he was still playing at a high level.
Mhm.
So it's just and well, shoot. I mean, if you want to, I mean, just I guess if you want to look at it from a consistency level, I think 2000s, 2010s is probably, in my opinion, it's the best era. It is the best era of quarterbacks and quarterback play.
Mhm. I agree with that, but I think here's the thing. I think that this is what I've noticed with the quarterbacks over the decades. Like the quarterbacks from the 80s and 90s, they had some of those guys were also they have different type of like grit at quarterback. Those like the last of the era of like them was the dudes our daddies and everything used to watch. That was the last of that era. The tough quarterbacks. That's when the West Coast offense everything started. That's when the pure passers you started seeing them. They were the first ones. They were like the Jackie Robinsons. That was them. And then, like you said, the 2000s and the 2010s, that's when the Willie Mays and everything starts showing up. Because when you start looking at when you start naming some of the best quarterbacks of all time, about 70 to 80% of them are going to be coming from that era of 2000 to 2010. So I think those are the era of the most talented, like pure passing quarterbacks. Like these are dudes that they make every single play. These guys on your team, that you have a chance, everything like that. They, like you said, they were a lot of winners at different levels. Like you said, if they weren't winning Super Bowl, they was winning MVPs. If not, they was getting passing titles, throwing for 5,000 yards here, They made that era of quarterbacking made it easy. Made it seem like it was easy to get 300 passing yards. 350 to 400 passes. They made it look easy, like it was supposed to be routine. When in all honesty, it's not. No. I had because they made you. It almost makes you not appreciate the 300-yard passing game no more because they did it so often and it was like so easy for them. And then excuse me, now these guys ain't playing, it's not happening as often. And you're like, damn, like you're like, oh, well the quarterback plays. But like, no, it's not. It's just these other guys just make it look very easy. And now the quarterbacks. Now, what I can say is about today's quarterbacks is that this is easily the most versatile, athletic era of quarterbacks ever. It's not even close. It's not even close. These guys, I feel like if you could take some of these guys out right now and put them in different eras, I think that their athletic ability is so far advanced that some of the defenses from yesteryear wouldn't be able to deal with it because they've never seen anything like that before. Mm-hmm. Like imagine you plugging in Lamar Jackson to play like during let's say like the 90s or something. They've never, that's when they started seeing the fast running quarterbacks. But they've never seen nothing like this. This dude moves around like Barry Sanders at quarterback. They never seen nothing like that before. But he's not as good as passer as some of these other guys are. So that's where the difference would be. But I'm with Drell. That 2000, 2010, that is the golden age of quarterbacking for sure. And we were lucky enough to watch it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that era is pretty much not necessarily childhood, but that's preteen to teen era right there. Those are like glory years. Like we were blessed to see that many elite quarterbacks do their thing for like a very, very long time. And the fact that us, like Champ, you can attest to this, us being Atlanta fans, we didn't get that much. So the fact that we were blessed enough to get a Matt Ryan, of course, I'm gonna speak on it. I'm gonna defend him to the real fall off. I'm gonna still say he's a Hall of Famer. People can argue with me all they want. I don't care. But I'm gonna ride with that boy to the wheel fall off. What he did for my city, for what he did for our state. I'm telling you that.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, we saw one of the greatest offenses of all time, man. We left out Kurt Warner, in that Greatest Show on Turf offense.
Yeah.
That was like, when you talk about video game offense, it's like, bro, it is not supposed to be that darn easy for you to score. It's not like it's like Mike Tyson. You used to go to the bathroom and pee, and all of a sudden they just scored 14 points. Like, ain't no way y'all just scored that fast.
There's no reason a quarterback should be that blessed to come into a situation with Marshall Faulk as your running back, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and Azahir Hakeem was your number 3. Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's hell on. They called it the greatest show on turf. For me, it was hell on earth because that's what it was every time somebody played them.
Yeah,
I
agree, man.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like when we bring up that air, like the B guys, like even the B guys were good. Like the Carson Palmers, like you said, like Kurt Warners, Donovan McNabbs, Michael Vicks, those type of guys. Who else?
Dante Culpepper for
Dante Culpepper. What's his name? The other brother, Randall Cunningham. Those type of guys. Like those are still very good quarterbacks. Warren Moon, that was a great quarterback from back then. Throughout that time, there was very good quarterback play. And and every once in a while, like you get like a guy even like the Andrew Lucks, the Cam Newtons, you get those type of guys every once in a while. Like you're like, damn, this dude is, he's supposed to be this and that, but something happened in his career where he wasn't able to take the next step. There was consistently very good quarterback play from the 2000s to like 2015. In my opinion, that's when, because that was around the time everybody started getting old, so that is for sure the golden era of quarterbacks, no doubt about it.
Yes, indeed. Another quick question before we move out of the NFL and move on to college. And this is something that I ran across, from the great RG3. He put a tweet on the internet. And I have to ask y'all this because of all the football that we didn't see. We just saw Montana. We just saw some of the greatest of all time. We just saw these guys. The only people that we did not see was United. But other than that, we just saw the greatest of all time when it comes to Elway, a lot of other guys. So I got to ask y'all this question, man. Look, is this era officially going to end the era of the traditional drop back quarterback? Is this the last era of that?
I think so. I think with the way defenses have evolved and how now you have the really, really fast, the linebackers running 4-3, 4-4s, running like wide receivers. Hell, you have some defensive ends running like tight ends, running 4-5, 4-6, 40-yard dash. You got some defensive tackles running 4-6s and stuff like that. The corners are getting taller. Now the corners are like on average 6 foot 6'1". Now the corners are getting taller. Everybody's faster now. Everybody's just faster now. And I think now with the way the quarterback position is already evolved anyway, I think now we're at the point in time at the quarterback position to where you got to be able to be mobile not only in the pocket but outside of the pocket. You have to be able to operate within the system and outside the system. You got to be able to operate in structure, out of structure. You have to be able to do. You got to be able to do all of this nowadays because nowadays defenses are so fast. If they see like a Kirk Cousins who is not going to run and is not going to go anywhere, they know his spot. All they got to do is get to his spot. So they eat a lot. Defenses nowadays are going to eat a lot. True true to life pocket passers in the pocket. So I think now and especially with how offenses are evolving now, seeing college style offenses being implemented into the pros with the RPOs, the air raids, and all the air raid offense, seeing college making its way up on the pro level. Now I think the typical drop back quarterback is really not going to be. It's not going to be the premium like it once was. Like just having that guy that can stand back, make all the throws, be able to process, be able to read the defenses before he gets the snap off, pre-snap, post-snap, all that. That's still important. But I think having the quarterback that can actually move and can operate out of structure, I think it's just become so more of a thing and so much more important nowadays. Yeah, I definitely think the typical drop back passer is becoming an archetype and becoming archaic at this point. So yeah, I definitely think the typical. I don't think it's necessarily dead yet because you're still gonna have every so often you're gonna have like one or two every so often that still come that just either is like really really smart and can operate pre-snap or just has like a cannon of an arm. But I mean, really outside of that, with the way these offenses are structured and the way these defenses are evolving, yeah, I think the drop back, the typical drop back passer is definitely it's not dead, but it's dying. I think it is starting to die a little. It's starting to die.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles.
I agree because I'll give you a prime example of somebody who fits right into that role. That's not that good, but he'll probably be he'll probably be better in the old school era. My guy, Mr. Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell is a guy that when I look at him, it's like if you were to be drafted like about 20 years ago, you would have developed into a pretty good pocket passer. But the way the quarterback play is today, like you said, you have to be mobile. You have to be able to move around. You got to be able to do something when the offensive line collapses. It's going to happen because of, like you said, Darrell, the speed and athleticism of these defensive players now. The schemes of defense are pretty much been the same throughout the years. There's a new tweak every once in a while, but it's basically the same. You run a 3-4, you run a 4-3. You're running this version of nickel. You might run this version of something like that to that extent. But the big difference is that I'll give you a prime example. Quentin Williams from the Jets. This big mofo up over there, 6'4", about 330, running a 4.7, 4.8 40. That's like being hit by a car if he runs full speed at you. That is something that is absolutely insane that somebody at that size has a 4 in front of their speed. Well, that is scary. Then you got I think it was Montez Sweat. He ran like a 4. Was it like a 4.4 or 4.5 something like that on his 40? Some crazy, some crazy number like that. So you got guys out there, or another prime example of what you call it, Michael Parsons. Him too. These dudes is fast, and they are game wreckers. And these dudes are getting stronger. Like you said, the corners are getting bigger and stronger. The safeties are more versatile. Excuse me. The linebackers are smaller than they used to be, but they're more versatile to cover tight ends now, opposed to back in the day. You don't necessarily need your middle linebacker to be 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds no more. Like now if you about that size, your big ass is on the damn line. You're not over there playing middle linebacker like that no more. So that's definitely it's human evolution. That's what it comes down to. The evolution of humans has definitely changed in all sports, but you can technically see it the most in football because these guys out here are just absolutely incredible getting after this quarterback. And if your quarterback can't move, his ass is grass. But there is an exception to the rule. the guy looking at right now, Jared Goff. Jared Goff might be the closest thing to a real pocket passer in today's standards. Him and Joe Burrow. Those are the two guys I'm like, those are the closest guys I can probably say are like pocket passers, but they can still move around enough in today's era. But they got the arm talent to make every damn pass imaginable. That's what those two guys are. That's what these OG pocket passes were. They make every damn pass you could think of, and that's how it is.
To end it right here, man, who would have known that a guy like a Randall Cunningham, guys like Fran Tarkenton, guys like Bobby Douglas, they would have been trailblazers for the quarterback position? Because back then, they were considered project QBs. Bobby Douglas was the first running back the first quarterback in order to rush for over 900 yards. So, I mean, and now he couldn't hit the ground with a stick at the quarterback position. And that's why the Bears end up losing a lot of games. But, he was revolutionary at making a way for the running quarterback. Him, Fran Tarkenton, not to mention, Randall Cunningham, guys of that nature. And it's as far as mobility, let's not sell short the great Doug Flutie. Let's not sell him short.
Yeah.
Although he had to move out of necessity, he still was able to navigate his way outside of that pocket in order to make some great throws, man. So
his playmaker was definitely underrated.
Yes, indeed. So
Steve Young as well. Steve Young did what he had to do.
Yes. Look, quick question, real quick, before we move into college. If Lamar is to win, Lamar or Josh Allen, if they are to win a Super Bowl this year, would that put them ahead of Steve Young? Y'all have the floor.
I already told you. I think Lamar's already the greatest running quarterback of all time. I already told you this. I think he's already the greatest running quarterback of all time.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's even close.
Not even close?
Nah. Look, here's the thing. First thing people say is like Vic or something. Vic was fast, and he had the agility, but it's something about he didn't have the same shiftiness Lamar had. It's just something different about the way Lamar. Because the thing is, it doesn't seem like Lamar's even running fast. It's like he's jogging most of the time, and he's still faster than everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's just something about that shiftiness in his game that makes him just different. It's just it's for me. It's not close. Vic may be second, but I think that the person that's getting the closest to being, I think y'all heard me say this beforehand. The guy that's getting close to being the best dual threat quarterback is probably Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Because of not only his running ability is top tier, we haven't seen a quarterback that runs the way he does, pass the way he does either. So that's the big difference. He could make all these incredible runs and still make that big time pass. It's like like I said, I call him the best version of Cam Newton. That's what he is.
Okay.
I'll real quick. I'll say this about Michael Vick though. I do think when it comes to the greatest of all time as far as running quarterbacks, I think he's the greatest out of structure worker at the quarterback position we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I think he's the greatest out of structure worker we've ever seen at the quarterback spot.
Mm.
You can't really argue that because there wasn't a lot for him to work with down there in Atlanta with as far as when he got there. Because you remember this. Remember Brian Finneran was our number one receiver at one point. So,
oh Lord!
He got us to the playoffs with Brian Finneran as our number one receiver.
He got us to the playoffs with Brian Finneran as our number one receiver. Now Brian Finneran was a hell of a professional receiver, but bro, like damn it, it's like bro, y'all can do better than this, bro. Come on.
And they couldn't get him a true number one to save his life. And what was our answer to getting him a number one receiver? Peerless freaking play.
Let's move on to the next segment.
Wait a damn minute. No. What name did you just say again?
Peerless Price was our answer to getting Michael Vick a number one wide receiver. It was Peerless Price.
Man, shit, Algie Cooper did more than Peerless Price did up over there.
Exactly.
I'm like, what the No, when they
Yes.
look, I hate to elaborate on this. They literally traded a first round pick. But I
For-
was a child.
for Peerless
Do you know
Price.
how mad I was that year?
I thought you
Here's
was.
the thing, though. I was excited though, but then when I saw Peerless Price, it was like, oh yeah, okay, never mind. You're
Like,
an,
oh,
you're
shit.
an, you're an Eric Moles merchant. Never mind.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Not Eric Moles.
Yeah, he
Eric
was. Peerless Price
He
was an
was.
Eric Moles merchant. He really was.
And then him, because remember they had a three-headed monster at the wide receivers. It was him, Josh Reed, and Eric Moles. I'm like, bro,
LSU's own.
yeah, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you trading for? The thing is, and the thing is, the only thing that they had to give up in order to get T.O. was a second-round pick, and they didn't do it. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Because remember, that was all the Baltimore Ravens had gave up in order to get T.O.
When that Nike commercial came out with Vic and Terrell Owens, I thought it was a done deal. I thought Atlanta was gonna make it happen. And then they got Peerless Price, bro.
Oh, they're gonna make me cuss on live television. Let's move on, man.
Hey, look, I swear I was telling my man, they about to make Champ cuss over. I can tell this is a sensitive subject to Champ. Champ, it's better not to cuss about this situation.
No, because the thing is, it didn't make sense. He was already a short receiver, so you really had to.
We needed somebody tall.
Yeah, you nearly had to put him in position. And we already had another short receiver. Brian Finneran was not the shortest guy, but he was only like 6'1", but we didn't have that big guy that was just gonna, outside of Then you bring in this dude and he can't catch a cold barefooted in Alaska. And like, what did we do this for? Then it took them a while to develop Roddy White.
Oh yeah.
And then Michael Jenkins. Anyway,
oh shit.
Moving. So,
shit. Not Michael Jenkins. Oh my lord.
Quick sports update. The Hawks beat the Celtics again.
Oh, for real?
Yep.
Damn.
How did the Hawks keep beating the Celtics?
Because this is what I tell people. The Atlanta Hawks are going to be a problem for really, really good teams this year. Is because they finally built the team correctly around Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Zach Ricochet, Dyson Daniels, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys that can shoot the ball, can play defense. They finally got the team right around here for once. And they're like Milwaukee and Boston and Cleveland. They've beaten Cleveland twice this year. They're just a matchup problem for all the good teams out there.
Yeah.
And Trae Young is still a very, very, very elite player that people try to act like he's not. I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get why people act like Trae Young is not the elite player. That dude is elite. This dude can give you 30 points and give you 15 rebounds. 15 assists in the same game. This dude is unbelievable.
Dude literally had a 30-point, 20 assist game this year. It's like, what are we doing?
The thing is, he does it. I always feel like this. Here's how I feel. When you don't look the par, to a lot of people, you aren't the par. And that's the problem. There's a lot of short bias still in the NBA. Well, he doesn't look like this. Who gives a care? Like, if that's what he's doing, that's what he's doing.
I don't get it. Like, even and the thing I don't like about that is that, that narrative goes to the point where it starts affecting his money. Because there was years where he should have been like, for sure, like an all NBA, like second team or something. But he may have got third or didn't make it. And you look at the guys who did, you're like what? And even when I see like some of the player rankings, I remember like one year they had him like ranked like number like 40 something. I'm like, there's not that many players in the NBA that's better than Trae Young. Y'all are tripping.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and the thing is, it's between that and people don't like Trae. In my opinion, people don't like Trae Young because of one thing. People really don't like Steph Curry, and his game is very similar to Steph Curry's. And that's the only way we can talk bad about somebody with that similar skill set is to downplay him. But at the same time, it's like you look at his career, what he averages. His career average is like a double, and he does it with ease. I just don't get. They like, oh well, his shooting. Nobody said nothing about shooting percentage when Kobe was throwing up damn shots. Nobody said nothing about shooting percentage when Jordan was throwing up shots. When McGrady was throwing up shots. Nobody said nothing about. Nobody cared that somebody was 12 for 30 until over the past maybe 10 to 15 years. And all of a sudden analytics come in and like, oh, analytics try to convince you that these X amount of players were not good. No, nobody cared about that. All they cared about was what that final number was and did you get the W. Jordan won the game where he scored 40 points and shot the ball 38 times. Nobody gave a shit. It's like you gotta do what you gotta do to win. And I'm not mad at that. And plus Trae Young went on that little run in the playoffs about a few years ago when he was the villain, and people still don't like him behind that because he beat some teams that they were not supposed to beat that probably could have made some noise.
The COVID year.
Oh man, they did not like him. Boy, he was going up over there and ice train up New York and everything. They didn't like him. Oh man, they did not like him. He's still catching hate behind that, and I love it.
They still say F Trae Young because of that, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew, and shout out to BRL. He made sure when the Atlanta Hawks beat my Los Angeles Lakers that he rolled it in my face.
Y'all did get us a second. Y'all did get us a second go round, but boy, y'all got us second round. But that first time I was like, hey, yeah, champ, Hawks beat your Lakers, man. But I saw champ face head just drop like.
Los Angeles, y'all need to get it together. But we're gonna say that for another show. Let's move into college football. So
yes, sir.
You have two of the perennial powerhouses in the college football landscape right about now. You have, Ohio State, one of the historic powerhouses in college football, and you have the granddaddy of them all, Notre Dame. So if you've been watching college football as long as we have, you remember when it was Notre Dame versus the world. You remember that. It's just like when your school played Notre Dame, you want to beat the hell out of them because this might be the first and only chance that you have to get them. So plus is that, that prima donna stuff and, all that button up stuff, hey, y'all know what it is, all the button, we used to call them the button up universes, if you will, So every time Georgia played Notre Dame, I was always like, oh
my God.
So, hey, oh yeah, because you a USC fan, so yeah.
Man, I don't want to hear nothing about no damn Notre Dame.
Hey, shout out to my father, man. He's a huge Notre Dame fan. I bleed red and back, but my dad loved Notre Dame. So shout out to my dad, man. I'm hoping that they can bring it home just for him to win another one in his lifetime, especially with Coach Freeman. But I gotta ask y'all this, man. Which football program would this national championship need the most to? Like, would it mean more to Ohio State or would it mean more to Notre Dame? And whoever wants to go first.
I got this one.
I'll let Big Homie kick it off.
It's easily by at least 100 miles Notre Dame. Notre Dame ain't won it since the 80s. Every chance they've gotten over the years where they were a good team, they choked it away. They went the last time they went to the National was when they had Manti Te'o over there. They got curb stomped by Alabama. So for them, I think, especially considering the fact of not like that, they're a powerhouse in themselves, but this might be a short window for them because, they like history has shown Notre Dame has this, they just choke. That's how it is. But Ohio State has done that as well. So for Ohio State, I think that Ohio State can recover from it better, recover from an L better because, their team, they're pretty much consistently going to be one of the top teams in the as far as when playoff consideration starts going around. You know, they're in probably the second best conference. You know, they win the conference. They got their chance of going. They won way more recently than Notre Dame has, so they already have a taste of winning. Notre Dame needs this more than probably any team that was in the playoffs this year, for sure. Just off the simple fact of off the reputation alone. You know, they have such a great reputation, but they haven't won since what was it, 88?
88, Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
Lou Holtz.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So shit. I was born in 91, so they ain't won in my lifetime. You feel me? So that right there show you in itself. So definitely, it's definitely Notre Dame.
From I guess when you're looking at the schools from a historical perspective, I agree. It will be more than Notre Dame. I look now. I'll make a case I won't necessarily make a case for Ohio State because I think they're going to be around because I mean they've shown to be like one of the perennial powerhouses in terms of competing, recruiting, and all that. They've shown that they're going to be able to get theirs and they're going to be able to hang around and compete. From the Ohio State side, I look at it from the Ryan Day perspective. If Ryan Day gets this national championship on Monday night, all the talk stops. All the wanting him fired, all this and that, it stops. It stops. They could keep losing to Michigan. He got a national championship. He got a national championship. He all right with us. He got us one. He all right with us. So I think from the Ohio State perspective, I think it would mean more to Ryan Day as a coach than Notre Dame than Ohio State as a university. But if you're just looking at from the historical side, if you're just looking at which university it would mean more towards, I definitely do. I definitely do think from that perspective it's Notre Dame. And then, and I've said this before, add to the fact that it's Marcus Freeman. So just imagine the historical context of not only putting Notre Dame back on the top of the mountain, but you being a black coach putting Notre Dame back on top of the mountain. That is like the double historical whammy if there ever was one, because he's already the first black coach to coach in a national championship game. He's already the first to do that. So if he gets Notre Dame back on the mountaintop, just the historical context there is exponential, and it couldn't be written any better. But just to put Notre Dame back on the map for what this Notre Dame winning a national championship is like the Lakers or the Celtics winning the NBA title. It's like the Yankees winning the World Series. It's like the Dallas Cowboys. Well, they need to get to an NFC championship game first, but it's like the Dallas Cowboys getting back to the. But it's like the Dallas Cowboys getting to the Super Bowl and winning it. I mean, it's just that historical context. It's that mainstream appeal. It's that Notre Dame having an NBC network deal, just that national appeal. Just it's like Notre Dame having an NBC deal. It's like no matter where you're at in the country, you're going to be able to watch Notre Dame on Saturday because they got the NBC deal, kind of like what the Atlanta Braves was with the TBS Superstation back in the 90s. Your team could be blacked out. You going to get that game nationally on that national network. So everybody just sees the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on like a weekly basis on Saturdays. And if they have another national championship to put on that mantle and display and show everybody, hey, we're back. The eyes that gets put back on Notre Dame, just Notre Dame being back on top, winning that national championship could potentially set them up for at least the next 5 or so years at being a powerhouse. And then you got a guy like Marcus Freeman. Who's definitely a player coach. But at the same time, like you've seen it in these college football playoffs. The dude can coach his butt off. Like say us being Georgia guys, and we love us some Kirby Smart. Marcus Freeman coached circles around him that game. He really did. Particularly that one instance where he did the full 11 substitution to gauge to see what Kirby Smart do, and then Kirby Smart did his own full 11 substitution, and they still drew an offsides and got a first down. I mean, that's just Marcus Freeman knowing his personnel and knowing the situation and understanding what he felt like he needed to do in order to win a game. So I'm just saying, like, Notre Dame winning this championship would almost like reset the historical context as far as college football if Notre Dame was to win this on Monday night. So I look at it from an individual perspective. I'm looking at it from Ryan Day's perspective as far as like it would just reset his reputation as well. But as far as the school, got to go Notre Dame. It will definitely mean more to them as a university.
Got to go with Ryan Day, to be honest with you, because of all of the scrutiny that he's been through the past couple of years, losing to Jim Harbaugh, who later went to the NFL. I mean, losing to a decimated Michigan team, that was this year, had a lot of suspensions going on, a lot of controversy going on with this school. Kind of a mess that Jim Harbaugh left after he won the national championship. And, Ryan Day has been criticized greatly this year. So I got to go with Ryan Day because I think that will mean more to that program. Plus, how ironic would it be for them to win the first ever 14 college football playoff, then them to turn around and win the first ever 12 team. So, and if he wins that championship, a lot will be forgiven. A lot will be forgiven. I mean, a lot will be forgiven. The only person that I can really see that a lot was forgiven for when he won that first national championship, I put that on Jim Tressel level of when he won that national championship, he could buy a hamburger in the city of Columbus. So I got to say Ryan Day. Speaking of college football, going back to Notre Dame, are they the Cinderella story rather than the villain of this year?
I think they're the Cinderella, and it's really like it's the likability of Marcus Freeman for one, and just what he's instilled into that program, but also seeing how they play because they have a really good running game. Quarterback play isn't the greatest. I mean, Riley Leonard can make some plays with his legs, but he's not the greatest as far as throwing the ball. So they're a scrappy team. Like their defense, they win games with their running game and their defense. They are just the no nonsense, scrappy. We don't care who we go against. We're gonna find a way to win the game regardless of who we play. And I really do think that they've kind of become more of the Cinderella than the villains here. Because normally when you think Notre Dame, with the mainstream appeal that they have, they're automatically the villain. But there's a likability to this team. There's a real likability to this team with how they play and then Marcus Freeman being their head coach. So I definitely think they've been I definitely think they're more the Cinderella than the villain.
Cinderella or villain? I would give them more of a Cinderella because I don't think nobody expected them to get to where they are, which is weird considering they won like 13 games in a row. But I think when they had that last loss, they people pretty much probably wrote them off. But their defense is definitely. Oh yeah, that was a bad loss. That was terrible. I enjoyed watching them lose that game, but that's a whole different story. But it's definitely I'll give them Cinderella because I think everybody had written them off early. It's typical Notre Dame. Notre Dame is when they're good, they got all these expectations and then they eventually wet the bed, which could still happen. But it's different this year. Like you said, I think their coach helps them a lot with their likability because any other year you probably hear something different about Notre Dame than you hear this year. Their defense is definitely top tier. They have the best set of corners in college football, and their best corner isn't even playing, which is the crazy part. They got a freshman and a sophomore out there locking everybody down. So, yeah, I'll give them the Cinderella because they're definitely not villains this year. No doubt about it. I would not give them the villain card.
Hold on for 1 second, real quick.
Detroit, what are you doing?
What the fuck is going on here?
What happened?
They really called a halfback option pass with David Montgomery, and he threw an interception.
Oh
Lord.
Oh man.
And not only oh gosh, and not only
downfield, that's an interception, guys.
Yeah, and not only that, they're going to get him on the illegal for. They're going to get him on the legal for a pass because I think he tossed it forward to David Montgomery before he threw the pass. Oh no,
bro.
No. Did y'all see that to them on defense the drive before?
Yeah, that was ugly.
When it was 4th and 3 and they got 12 in on the field.
Yeah,
they shoot themselves in the foot. They about to lose this game being idiots.
Yeah, looking like Keystone Cops.
Hey, champ, you know what it is?
Mr. Watson.
You know what it is, champ? When you got it's difficult for your team to stay focused on the goal when your two top guys are guys who are pretty much like 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Like, we all know that Ben Johnson is getting hired the moment their season is over with. And it's probably the same thing with Glenn. These two guys are going to get hired within a week of Detroit's season ending. They can try and stay focused as much as they want to and, say all the right PR things as much as they want to. But it's difficult as hell to stay focused when you know for a fact that once you finish this job right here, you're being upgraded instantly. You can say whatever about the team, whatever team he goes to is not going to be better than the Detroit Lions. But as far as you moving from coordinator to head coach, I'll give you a prime example with the Falcons when Shanahan was there in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I honestly think that he was looking forward to being the damn head coach before he realized that he had a damn Super Bowl to win.
Yeah, that's another subject for another day. And,
my fault, y'all. My fault. My bad, y'all. My bad. My fault.
I'm numb to it at this point. We hear so much. I'm numb to it at this point.
Look, I understand. I'm still mad about the damn Tuck rule, and that shit was 20-something years ago. I'm still mad about that. I was a kid when that happened. I'm still mad about it. So I understand. So yeah, that I think is because the thing is this. You look at Detroit. If they don't win this, if they don't at least go this year, I don't think they're going to go. I don't think they're going to make it after this year because it's going to be very difficult unless they already have somebody that's grandfathered or ready to be grandfathered right on in. Because it's a strong possibility.
Oh my God!
Oh no! Wait.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oh. Washington gonna mess around and win this goddamn game.
Nah, the game is over.
It done got uglier than the masterpieces at this point.
Hey, look, they broke their spirit already. Their spirit is broken.
Yeah, it's ugly right now.
Look, they uppercutted them so cold they don't know what to do.
Yeah. And not to mention, guys, not only is TikTok being banned, but CapCut is being banned. So
shit.
So CapCut and TikTok is banned. But we'll get on to that subject on another day. Last subject. Anybody got anything else they got to add about Notre Dame and the villains?
Yeah, I got something to add about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Never mind. Y'all go ahead. I'm about to say something disrespectful about the fighting Irish.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep PG today. Y'all go right ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's keep it PG.
I'll keep it PG for today.
We're gonna be PG program. Look, we all wrestling fans on here, man. So, but I'm gonna let y'all cook on this. I'm gonna let y'all cook for the next couple minutes, and we're gonna see what happens. What do y'all think about the TNA WWE partnership? Y'all have the floor. Whoever wants to go first.
The WWE TNA partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty good. I can see where it benefits both sides. And the thing is this, it's being done differently than the McMahon collaborations, where Vince is like, I'm about to take over this company, but I'm about to backdoor them real fast. I think everything is cool. Guess what? I'm snatching your company right in it from snatching the world from under you. It's not one of those situations. It's a legit partnership that, and TNA has good wrestlers over there. They're a very good program over there. They're definitely better than AEW. So that's one thing. I think that the structure that WWE is trying to build, and they can help install that up over there with TNA, and then with vice versa, that helps the guys over there at TNA be like, shoot, that's a easy way for me to make my transition right on up over here with the big dogs, So I feel like anytime you get when you're at a level and you get a chance to collaborate with the big dog in your industry, you got to take that risk. And I don't think it's a risk because it's different than how it was back in the day.
If I can have this one real quick, guys.
Go ahead, brother.
It's good. It kind of reminds me, look, this is the only thing that it reminds me of the old school National Wrestling Alliance. A lot of guys, a lot of promoters that are sharing talent and are trying to elevate their talent. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of collaborations with a lot of different companies, even before we was old enough to understand what wrestling actually was doing. We saw the Super Clash with WCCW, with the Von Erich organization and the Memphis organization with Jerry the King Lawler was the head promoter. We saw a lot of, as Mr. Watson said, AEW had the first shot to collab with TNA and screwed it up. Shout out to Mr. Watson and his knowledge of the sports world.
And they really did screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nasty. But I will say this. The only thing that this does is it puts it back to the old territory days. And now a lot of wrestlers, it's a great time to be a wrestler in the wrestling business. Now you have a chance to actually go somewhere and be successful. It's not, everybody knows the final destination is the WWE, but at least you have a chance in order to make a living in this industry. Because as Cliff said, it's a great way to make a living. And so with them coming together like the National Wrestling Alliance of old, when you had a whole bunch of territories from different places and they're collabing and they're sending different talent over here and they're letting people borrow talent, I think that's a good thing. And plus, Triple H is a student of the game. He's a student of the old school. So he knows how the National Wrestling Alliance used to work. And he knows how, everything used to work back, quote unquote, back in the day. So I think that's big ups to Triple H, The Rock, and all the guys at TKO understanding the tradition of wrestling. Dusty Rhodes, the late great Dusty Rhodes, used to always talk about tradition. Wrestling companies, different territories collabing with each other, that is tradition. And, big ups to Vince McMahon because he was able to break tradition, but it's good to see it coming back to a tradition at this point in time. But that's what I think. It's just bringing it back to tradition at this point. But BRF, you have the floor. What do you think?
I think this is one of the best things that TNA could have done. I definitely think it's one of the best things TNA could have done because it's one of those where it's like you can't go wrong. Yeah, they just scored again.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. And I love TNA.
Oh wow, yeah, that's wow. Okay, but all right. So to get our minds off of this butt whooping going on in Detroit right now. But yeah, with a I feel like with a WWE partnership, you can really do no wrong here. You can go nowhere with up, especially with how hot the WWE has been really the last couple of years, and it's like starting to like really hit an apex now. So I definitely think that like TNA going into this with WWE is only going to help. Is only going to help their company. And I know there's going to be some people saying, "Well, what happens if like all the top TNA talent goes to WWE?" It's like, welcome to business. Welcome to business. I mean, it is what it is. WWE isn't necessarily doing this with the plan of taking the talent, because at the end of the day, they're all grown individuals, and they're going to make the decisions that they feel is going to be best for them and their futures and their careers. So if a lot of them ultimately in a year or so, when contracts expire, if they made the jump to WWE, oh well, welcome to business. I know there's one I know for a fact that's about to go to WWE when her dates are up, and that's Jordan Grace, who might arguably be the best wrestler in the entire world, regardless of promotion, in terms of from the women's side of things. So we know she's all but about to head to WWE once she puts Tessa Blanchard over. Once she puts Tessa Blanchard over, she's heading to the WWE, probably going to the Royal Rumble. So we know that's one. So, but what I want to see from this partnership going forward, I didn't even see it. I wasn't even paying attention. There you go. There you go. There you go. There we go. We about at that 2 hour mark, so we know the foolishness is about to kick in, because some of us be a little tired now. The foolishness is about to kick in. but anyways though. But no, like what I want to see from this partnership, because I feel like we haven't really gotten because it's mainly going to be built around TNA and the NXT. Yeah, he said, Nick, relax. But because we know it's being based around the TNA talent and the NXT talent. We know what it's based around. What I want to see with this being a multi-year partnership, I want to see this ultimately trickle into WWE's main roster, and it not just be the NXT people. Now, like as far as the NXT people, I would say like the biggest name that's gone from NXT to TNA is probably Wesley. Probably Wesley. So but that's because he already had a previous relationship with TNA, and I mean his two boys are basically the Rascals, Zach Wentz and Trey Miguel. I mean, they made up one of the more innovative factions we've seen in wrestling in a long time. So they wanted to, and well, it ultimately led to those two ridiculous matches that Zach and Wesley had, which were both amazing matches. But yeah, like what I want to see it ultimately trickle into WWE's main roster. Like now, as far as like the NXT side of things, ultimately, I want to see the big dogs from NXT go to TNA. Like before Trick goes to the main roster, I want to see him do it. I wouldn't mind seeing him do a little something with TNA. I've already said it. Give me Moose versus Obafemi. I've already said it. Give me Moose versus Obafemi. Give me them two big athletic mountains. Just how did Big E say it? Big meaty men slapping meat. Give me that. Give me Moose. Give me Moose and give me Obafemi. But I'm being for real though. If you've watched Obafemi and you've seen Obafemi wrestle, that man is the future. That man is the future of the business. I mean, the fact that he's already able to cut promos the way he is, being a 300-pound man, but already being able to sell and tell stories in the ring, to be not just be this lumbering guy that can put on decent matches. Obafemi has put on some really, really good matches in his time in NXT. And Moose being the freak of nature that he is, real name Quinn Ojanaka. NFL draftee, Atlanta Falcons. I had to put that in there as well. So the dude is an athlete. The dude is a freak athlete. And I would love to see those two go at it. I would love to see, what other big names from TNA? I would love to see Josh Alexander do something with a top NXT guy. I mean, we did see Oba go up against Hammerstone. That was a pretty good match. But I want to see some other names. Also, I want to see Nick Nemeth go at it with somebody in NXT under the Nick Nemeth name, because all those years he was Dolph Ziggler. So him going back to WWE NXT under his real name being Nick Nemeth, I mean, it would definitely be something to see. So there's definitely routes and avenues that they can go with this. And like I said, I ultimately want to see the main roster from WWE get into this. I feel like that should be the end game. I feel like there's just so much easy money to be had and to be made with this partnership if they do this correctly. Ultimately, like I said, I just want to see the upper mid card guys from WWE go to NXT and have a feud here and there as well. But I just think there's really a lot of money that can be made here. Like, shout out to the WWE for also doing the WWE ID thing as well with the independents. Triple H knows his business, and he understands how to grow. And how I think in a way he wants to revolutionize this in his own way, and I feel like the WWE TNA partnership is the first step in this, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. But like I said, I have ideas to see what I would like for them to do as far as where they can take it. But so, like I said, it's a multi-year deal, so we got plenty of time with it. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed, man. And look. Hey, well, as we're approaching the end of this division playoff game, man, look, the Washington Commanders are up at this point, but the Lions are trying to make a comeback, so we're gonna see what happens. And
these are still the Detroit Lions at the end of the day.
Yeah, these are still the Detroit Lions, so we gotta wait to see what happens. But on that note, man, that concludes the show, man. Big shout out to Nick Freeze from the Sports for You podcast, the best in the West. Shout out to Mr. Watson for giving a lot of feedback on the show, man. Shout out to Sports PSP and everybody who joined us in the chat. Hey, if you're not subscribed already, feel free to hit that subscribe button, man. We got a lot more for you now that TikTok is being banned, and we're gonna move the content from over to TikTok, and we're gonna try to grow the brand over here, man. And look, we've all seen you on Sports for You podcast before. We've seen you on Sports for You Wrestling. Tell the people where to follow you at so they can know where to follow you, brother.
Yes, they can follow me at 99 Gorilla on Instagram and X. If you'll see my big ass right up over there, the goddamn picture. Go ahead and hit that follow button, and be warned, I am off the chain.
As we all know.
He ain't lying. So be warned before you follow him.
Yeah. Be warned.
He pulled no punches.
None whatsoever.
Hey, like I said, like I told him we was on the wrestling show, he one of the main reasons why I got kicked out of honors class. I couldn't stop laughing in class. Guys like him got me kicked out of honors algebra because of stuff just like that.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
What's so funny? I had a 98 in that class. They still got me the hell up out of there.
Hey, it's bad when you got a good grade in the class. They're still like, "Knock it up out of here."
You're too loud for us, son. We're gonna need you to get up out of here.
Pretty much.
Everybody wondering the next day why I'm showing up to 3 PEs onto my seat. But BRF, tell the people where to follow me at, bro.
With it looking like TikTok probably about to be banned. I can't. Well, I'm BRF Sport. I'm BRF Sports on the YouTube channel. I'm gonna try to. Since the TikTok might be getting ready to go away, I got to branch out. So follow me, BRS Sports, on the YouTube page. I have a link tree /Big Shug 1122. Follow my IG Drell 112285. Follow my X /Twitter Dre 2285. Those are really the big spots. I also have a BRS Sports Facebook page as well. So definitely hit that follow button for all of those. Just because TikTok going away don't mean we gonna stop in this, because as the great Goody Mob once said, "One monkey don't stop no show." So with that being said, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. Holla at your boy. Shout out to the homie Nick. It's always
Yes,
a pleasure
sir.
doing. It's always a pleasure doing this sports talk business with you. I already consider
Yeah.
you a brother, as well as John and Trail as sports for you.
Yes, sir.
If y'all ain't following these brothers, y'all need to get on that ASAP. You're doing yourself a disservice if you ain't following these brothers.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
indeed.
Appreciation.
Yes, indeed. I couldn't agree more. And I call them the best in the West for a reason. So, before we go off the air, Flash, get well soon, man. We miss you
I'm
on the
telling
show
you.
today, man.
Yes,
Get
sir,
well
man.
soon. So, man, we really miss Flash, man. And look, like I said, shout out to Nick Freeze and the Sports for You podcast and the Sports for Wrestling podcast, man. So, shout out to those guys, the best in the West. We call you the best in the West for a reason. And look, man, shout out to Columbus, Georgia, and Madison, Georgia, and Wisconsin, where our main man, Flash, is currently residing at this point, man. Like I said, Flash, get well soon. We missed you this week, but you can best believe we will see you again next week. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia, and we are out. Salute.
Chill.
Cheers.